Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whenever the heck you're watching this. Welcome to the Bernie Show, presented by DraftKings, where the crown is yours. You can read all my columns and watch my videos at sportshubstl.com. You can access the podcast version of the videos at our site, or just by going to Spotify or Apple. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I very much appreciate your support. This hat I'm wearing today, which I haven't put on for a while, is a replica of a cap worn by a prominent Cardinals minor league team based in Columbus, Ohio, back in the late 1940s. It's a little esoteric, yeah, but I like the style. But I'm doing it for a reason today, because I want to talk about the Cardinals' old school pitching staff, and I'll explain all this. Listen, I'm going to tell you in advance, I'm going to be throwing some stuff at you. You know, you're going to have to put up with some numbers. But the story is in the numbers, and the story tells us why the Cardinals have been able successfully, very much so, successfully been able to overcome some of their inherent flaws as a pitching staff. So I'm gonna explain all of this. Stick with it. I'm only using the numbers that I think are important, and they are important. But if we want, I know that I feel like I educated myself today because I got down into it and figured out some things. So without I hope I don't sound pretentious or anything, because I'm really not. So I feel like I was excited by sort of solving this puzzle, why the Cardinals can pitch so well considering their very low strikeout rate. Because it's one thing that, I see, understandably, I see some people in the media and fans locally pointing it out, which is totally cool to point it out because it's a real thing. But I see people like in the national media pointing it out. Well, this pitching staff doesn't strike out a lot of hitters. They don't, but they're managing to overcome it anyway. And it's not fluky. It's not an accident. There are reasons behind it. So that's why I wanted to talk about this today. And that's why I'm wearing this old school cap from the Columbus Redbirds. I know where I find this stuff, but I don't know how I come up with this stuff. Just certain hats just scream at me, buy me, and I do. All right, the Cardinals are doing a good job of preventing runs this season. They're allowing an average of 4 runs per game. That's 6th in the National League, 12th overall. And that's not bad considering they don't strike out people, right? Or they don't get swings and misses. So how much of this is because of their pitching, this run prevention? Or how much of this great run prevention, solid run prevention, should be attributed to the defense? Well, it's complicated because the Cardinals pitchers are really good at certain things, and I'll get to that later. But obviously, the Cardinals defense is having a very special season, and is certainly the number one reason why this team has an ability to limit runs and to overcome some inherent weaknesses like the strikeout rate, the swing and miss rate. I really cringe to think about how many runs the Cardinals would really be giving up this season if the pitchers had an average defense, a mediocre defense, or a terrible defense behind them. But fortunately for the Cardinal starters and relievers, they don't have to worry about that because they are absolutely supported by excellent defense. The defense is their protection. The defense is their bodyguard, so to speak. The defense neutralizes the impact of a really high hard hit rate against St. Louis pitchers this year. See, this pitching staff is vulnerable, and the defense provides security. But as I will tell you, the Cardinals pitchers also do things as a group that absolutely helps themselves. Yeah, is that grammatically correct? Yeah, they help themselves. I'll just leave it at that. See, I'm a little overheated today. I'll explain all this, and we're going to have to get through some numbers. Anyway, so far this season, the Cardinals pitchers ranked 27th among the 30 teams in strikeout rate. The ball is in play a lot. With few exceptions, the St. Louis Arms don't get a lot of swings and misses, and they're striking out only 19% of batters faced. Think about that. Only 19%. If that trend continues, this would be the lowest strikeout rate by St. Louis pitchers over the last 14 seasons. See, the number of strikeouts in the major leagues, as you know, because of all the power arms, right? the number of strikeouts has been growing and growing and growing over the last 10 seasons, but that hasn't happened with the St. Louis Cardinals. They're 25th. Their starting pitchers are 25th in strikeout rate. The relievers are 27th in strikeout rate. And think about it. The reason I'm smiling in this era of baseball, needless to say, it's unusual to have a bullpen that's got such a low strikeout count. Yes, there is, and this is one of the points I'm going to make here when we get to it, because I do want to point out some things about the defense. But in fact, there is more to pitching than strikeouts. If you got the strikeout power, it helps you. But I also think some teams maybe get lazy about that. Well, we strike a lot of guys. Well, what about the balls in play? Or what about pitchers who have poor location? Or what about pitchers who, can't, sometimes, like if you got a great defense on the left side of your infield, ain't nothing wrong with giving up ground balls that hitters pull, okay? Because that's playing into the trap you're setting for them. So it's more than just raw strikeouts, although they can do a benefit. And once I go through this defense a little bit, I'm going to point out how the Cardinals, in fact, are doing their part to neutralize opposing offense without the benefit of a big strikeout total. I'm also going to share the information about why the Cardinals have the best defense in the majors this season, and it's virtually across the board. But first, I want to tell you about DraftKings and their daily Pick Six challenge. The Major League regular season is about to reach Memorial Day, and by now we've gotten a good look at the pitchers and the hitters in this game, and we have a more informed idea about what to expect, what we can kind of see with a lot of these players and pitchers. See, DraftKings covers all sports, so you can find the one that interests you the most, or it fits your things that you're the most knowledgeable about it. But if you think you know Major League Baseball, then put that knowledge to use and win big cash prizes. In DraftKings Pick Six, you just focus on player stats. You select anywhere from 2 to 6 players. You choose whether the individual player will go higher or lower on a specific stat for that game, for that upcoming game set by DraftKings. Yeah, it's that simple, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of options to choose from when selecting your Pick Six players. So here's an invitation to get in the game and take your best shot at winning. When I say winning, I'm talking about money. Pick Six is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Georgia, Texas, and others. You'll enjoy tracking your selected players while the games are in progress, but more than anything, the most entertaining part, the thing you'll enjoy the most, is winning. And you can do that at DraftKings. It's really easy to get started. Just download the DraftKings app and open an account, then choose a sport, pick your players, and go for it. New players at DraftKings get $50 in Pick Six credits instantly with just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app now and use the code STL Sports. That code is STL Sports for new customers to play just $5, but get $50 in Pick Six credits to go with it. Better payouts, bigger wins. Let me do that again. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick Six from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick Six not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick Six credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at picksix.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, let's continue with my look at the old school Cardinals pitching and the correlation between that pitching and the team's fantastic defense. We all know, I don't have to tell any of you, the Cardinals have a really good defense. But the more I study this, me being the stat boy, the numbers nerd, it impresses me even more than I already was. The Cardinals defense leads the majors in outs above average. And that's a metric that emphasizes range and just the physical athletic ability to get to baseballs in play, whether it be on the air, the ground, line drives, whatever. 25 outs above average is huge. It's a clear lead on the rest of the National League. And let me point this out to you. The Cardinals in 2021 led the major leagues with 51 outs above average. Mike Schilt and his group had an excellent defense. But if this defense in 2025 stays on track, because they're already halfway. They're just about halfway there to where the 21 team was over the entire season for outs above average. So if the Cardinals have 25 outs above average now, and they've played 50 games, they've got 112 games left, and they're already just about halfway to matching what the 2021 Cardinals did when they led Major League Baseball in outs above average. So I think the Cardinals are going to blow by that, the 2021 figure. I think they're going to blow by that because just look at what they've done. And it's not like their fielders are all of a sudden going to turn lousy. These guys are really good, and they're well positioned by the coaching staff. This season, the Cardinals outfield and infield, I just laugh at this, man. Their outfield and their infield each are number one in the majors in outs above average, covering ground, getting to a high percentage of those batted balls, the ones that are in play, and converting them into outs. I mean, when your outfield and your infield is the leader in the majors, each category, that's really good stuff. And I was looking at this too. I'm saying, well, where's the weakness? I mean, certainly there's got to be holes in the defense. There's not really any holes that mean anything. I checked all the stuff at StatCast. The Cardinals defenders are strong on balls hit to their left. They're equally strong on balls hit to their right. There's pretty much nothing they can't get to, although obvious some balls are going to land. You can't, if you caught them all or got to them all, well, nobody would ever score a run. And I don't think that we can ask the Cardinals to do that. But the outfield is also the best in the majors in terms of retreating and going back to catch balls that would otherwise land behind them. So that's a lot of ground these fellas are covering. And by position, if you do it this way, they don't have any below average spots. At several positions, third base, first base, shortstop, center field, and right field, the Cardinals rank no worse than sixth in the majors in outs above average. Their strongest defensive showings have been turned in at third base, first base, shortstop, and center field. Let me throw this in here too. None of their fielding positions are in the negative columns. One of them, I think it's left field, is like neutral, but that's fine. That means it's average. It's not negative. And this good defense even includes their pitchers. Cardinals pitchers ranked third in the majors in defensive runs saved. They field the position well. So when we compare this to other teams, St. Louis fielders, even their pitchers, don't cost themselves a lot of runs through defensive flaws. But this defense absolutely doesn't cost the pitchers a lot of runs because of bad defense. They save run after run after run after run. Nolan Arenado at third base, center fielder Victor Scott, the second, shortstop Mason Winn, and first baseman Wilson Contreras. Yeah, I said first baseman Wilson Contreras. They each rank no worse than number 3 overall at their position in the majors defensively. That's Arenado's he's number 1. Victor Scott's like number 2, number 3 at his position. Mason Wynn's like number 3. Contreras is number 2 or 3. The point is, they're all in the top 3. That's a lot of positions. And again, all the other ones, save for one, are well above average. The Cardinals also lead the majors in runs prevented. And let me offer you a contrast about what this means. Remember that awful team? I know we're trying to forget it, but remember that awful team in 2023? Worst record in a full season by a Cardinals team since 1990. It wasn't just the pitching, even though the pitching wasn't good. The Cardinals had an awful defense in 2023. I mean, just horrendous. They ranked last in the National League, last in the major leagues at converting batted balls in play into outs. So far this season, they're second in that category in the National League, and they're top 10, I think, in the majors. Yeah, I wrote that down, but I couldn't find it when I'm looking over here now. But in 2025, it's not just the defense, okay? Again, I can't sing the praises of this defense enough, but that would also deny the credit or even the reality that Cardinals pitchers are also, aside from playing good defense, which they do, Cardinals pitchers are also helping themselves by specializing in several areas that offset their poor strikeout rate. I find this really, really interesting, and I want to share it with you because it's some really good stuff. I'm serious. Maybe the stat nerds like it more than so-called average fans, but even the average fans who don't care that much about the stats or whatever, just give this a listen because I think you'll smile at the stuff I'm going to share with you. And I'm going to get to that next. But first, I'm going to give my fellow brothers another reason to smile because I'm going to tell them about BlueChew. Gentlemen, especially those of you around my age, and I am 66 and proud of it. Please listen to what I have to say to you. BlueChew can help you have a more pleasurable and fulfilling life with your significant other. So why would you want to miss out? I have no hesitation in making sure you know about the benefits of BlueChew. Why? Because I've been there and done that. This frustrating issue applies to a significant percentage of men in America, and I'm one of them. So what is there to be ashamed of? There's no reason to shy away from getting help. BlueChew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for enhanced intimacy. Think of BlueChew as your go-to when it's time to turn your attention away from sports to focus on your partner. You will get your first month of BlueChew free. You're just a few clicks away, and it's really easy to get going and to get the product. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you're going to receive your prescription within days. BlueChew tablets are made in the USA. They're shipped directly to your door. It's all done online. There are no visits to the doctors, no awkward conversations, no lines at the pharmacy. You just order online. You order online and you wait a little bit and boom, you're good to go. Trust Uncle Bernie when I tell you this. There's nothing more attractive to your partner than confidence. And BlueChew can help you regain or increase your confidence where it counts. We have a special deal for our listeners and viewers. Try your first month of BlueChew free when you use the promo code Bernie. Just pay $5 shipping. That's promo code Bernie. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring The Bernie Show. All right, let's get back to the topic that has me fired up today. The Cardinals doing such an excellent job of preventing runs, even though their pitching staff doesn't get a lot of swing and miss, doesn't get many strikeouts, and the ball. The opponents put the ball in play a lot against the Cardinals, right? But the defense is not doing it alone. With the help of pitching coach Dusty Blake, and he finally has some of the enhanced technology that other pitching coaches have been using. The Cardinals did not have it. They were way behind the times. So good. It's so good to know that things are changing, and they're going to change even more under Chaim Bloom. So with the help of the additional tools that Dusty Blake now has at his disposal, the Cardinals have found ways to overcome their low swing and miss and strikeout rates. And there's another problem. Not even talk to it in terms of stuff the Cardinals have to overcome. Their pitchers. St. Louis pitchers so far this season, they're allowing the highest hard hit rate of any staff in the majors. So if you think about this on the surface, let's see, they can strike people out, not much. Going to be on their way to be having the lowest total in 14 years by a Cardinals team. They don't get swing and miss. Contact rate is high, and oh, by the way, the hard hit rate is very high. You would think, well, these fellows must be giving up, 5.5 runs per game. They must have a team ERA that's 5.38 or something. No, they don't. And that's the beautiful thing about this. So how do they overcome all this stuff? How do Cardinals pitchers get around this? When you're one of the worst strikeout staffs and the hardest hit, one of the hardest hit staffs in the majors. Sorry about that. That could be a huge problem that couldn't be totally rectified by playing terrific defense. And the Cardinals are playing terrific defense, but there's other. The Cardinals pitchers also do some things other than pitch, or they do some things with their pitching that's actually pretty cool. But if we're talking about stuff. And stuff, you've heard that term through the years, and now it's at Fangraphs. It's actually turned into a metric, and it's some really great work is done in this field. But anyway, stuff. The definition technically by Fangraphs is defined as, quote, the inherent quality of a pitch based on physical characteristics and a pitch quality model. So let's cut through all of that and just say, you know, the old expression, boy, that pitcher's got really good stuff today. That's basically what this means. And based on the metrics, the Cardinals pitchers, not many of them have really good stuff. Some do, of course, but not as a group. Here's the deal. In terms of the stuff rating, that pitcher's got good stuff. The Cardinals as a staff rank 24th out of 30 teams in the majors, and it's even worse for their starting pitchers who rank 28th in, quote, stuff among the 30 rotations. So this could really mess up a pitching staff. They don't have great natural stuff. So how are they doing this? And again, yeah, the defense is huge in this formula. But the Cardinals pitchers themselves continue to work around those negatives. Now, here's what the Cardinals pitchers as a group are doing to help themselves. This is the part where I explain all of this, because I think it's really interesting info, because there is a plan, and the Cardinals are executing the plan. They're not just like winging pitches towards home plate. They're doing with a specific goal in mind, and they're hitting that goal a lot. First of all, number one, I'm just going to count it down. I got 5 things. Number one, Cardinal pitchers have the 3rd highest ground ball rate in the majors at 47%. But even better, opponents are pounding more than half of those ground balls on a percentage basis to the left side of the infield. Yeah, the left side of the infield where Nolan Arenado and Mason Winn roam. Thank you very much, hitters. That's exactly where Cardinals pitchers want you to hit the ball on the ground. The St. Louis infield has got the best overall range of any infield in the majors, and because of that, opponents are batting only .214 when hitting a ground ball against the Cardinals. That's the 2nd lowest batting average on ground balls allowed by a National League pitching staff, so that's great. But when hitters hit a ground ball in that area patrolled by Winn and Arenado, you know what the batting average is? It's 144. That's the 2nd lowest rate in the majors, 2nd lowest batting average on ground balls to the left side in the majors. So, yeah, the left side of the Cardinals infield is where ground balls go to die. And what does this mean? Well, it means, first of all, the pitchers aren't giving hitters a lot of stuff to pull, because the Cardinals locate pitches very, very well. I'm not saying, this is, some kind of laser technique, but if you can get the ball to go where you want it to go a good percentage of the time, hitters aren't going to be able to do with it what they want to do with it, right? So if you get the pitch where you want to go, you have the advantage over the hitters. And the Cardinals pitchers as a group, they have terrific control. There is a metric for this. It's called, oddly enough, I'm being sarcastic, location. And that is defined as, not that you need a definition, that's defined as a pitcher's ability to put pitches in the right place. Cardinals are putting pitches in the right place. The Cardinals pitchers are hitting their spots with such consistency that only 3 major league staffs have done a better job of successfully locating pitches this year. Yeah, it's the 4th best staff in the majors at, quote, location. And when you can locate pitches with such a high level of precision, the benefits are obvious, and I'll get to that now. Number 3, because of the location and the sharp control, the Cardinals as a staff have the 7th lowest walk rate in the majors. It's under 8%. No additional explanation is necessary. Yeah, every now and then, like we saw Wednesday, Andre Polani walked 4 guys in 5 2/3. Yeah, every now and then you're going to have the walkitis. But for the whole season, the starting pitchers and the whole staff, but also the starting pitchers, and especially, just do a great job of not walking hitters. All right, number 4, and this is all tied to location and getting control of the counts. Opposing hitters have been ahead in the count during their at-bats against St. Louis pitchers only 26% of the time. That's the 7th lowest, as in 7th best, by a major league pitching staff this season. The ability to get ahead on the count or to put hitters behind on the count. And so the hitters are falling behind in the count against St. Louis pitchers a lot, a really big percentage of the time. And when the hitters are behind in the count against Cardinals pitchers, their slugging percentage, remember I told you about that hard hit rate? When hitters are behind in the count against Cardinals pitchers, those hitters as a group, their slugging percentage is the fourth lowest in the majors. Cause and effect, right? Number 5, Cardinal Arms. This is a related note. The Cardinal Arms have allowed 0.75 home runs per 9 innings this season. That is the second lowest home run rate yielded by a major league staff in 2025. Cardinal starters have the 8th lowest home runs allowed rate, and their relievers are even better. In fact, Cardinals bullpen guys are the best in the majors at preventing home runs. And you realize what a huge advantage that is? When your guys, whether they be starters or relievers, they do a fabulous job of keeping the ball inside the playing surface in fair territory, not letting the ball go over the fence, keeping the ball in the yard. That's good stuff. That's a huge benefit. Because of their excellent pitch location, Cardinals pitchers have a low walk rate. I'm summing it up now. Cardinals pitchers have a low walk rate, a low home run rate, a high ground ball rate that gives Arenado, Winn, and the other infielders a chance to get easy outs. And the Cardinals do allow, they don't allow a lot of fly balls, relatively speaking. I mean, it's still a good number of foul balls. But the other thing Cardinals pitchers do, I meant to say fly balls. Another thing, Cardinals pitchers do is they get a good amount of pop-ups. But they're giving their fielders, who are very gifted, they're giving their fielders just great chances to get easy outs, because they're sort of controlling the strike zone, talking about, even though they don't strike guys out much, they're controlling the strike zone by pinpointing location and avoiding walks and keeping the ball in the yard and getting those ground balls slapped right to where you want them to slap it, right? So if you want to know how a major league pitching staff can overcome such a weak strikeout rate, well, look at the Cardinals. They don't make many mistakes. They're pitchers. They have sharp controls. They get ahead in the counts. In fact, they're one of the best teams in the majors at getting hitters down 0-1 after the first pitch in the count. They use all of these things to get an advantage on the hitters. They have an edge on the hitters, not because they can blow them away with strikeouts, but because they are pitch makers. And pitch making is a good thing. Do you remember Jeff Suppan? Jeff Suppan didn't have, quote, great stuff. That dude could make pitches. Making pitches means, well, maybe getting hitters to guess wrong, but also it means you know exactly where that you want that pitch to go to attack a hitter's weakness or to perhaps reduce his chances of pulling the ball for a home run. Jeff Suppan did that all the time. All you got to do is go back to the 2006 postseason, especially the NLCS against the Mets, especially Game 7. Let us salute the pitch makers. It's not all about, well, I better throw 98. There's a lot of 98-mile-an-hour guys. They don't know where the ball's going, right? And hitters are so good. If you throw them a meatball at 96, 97 miles an hour, they'll punish it. Throwing hard does not guarantee success. But these pitchers, for all these little subtle things they're doing extremely well, they have extra confidence knowing that they have the best in show defense in the major leagues right behind them to back them up. In a way, and that's why I wore this hat today, 1948 Columbus Cardinals, a St. Louis Cardinals farm club. The Cardinals are making the old school style of pitching work and work beautifully. See, the art of pitching still matters, and I like that a lot. Again, it ain't about, well, I'm going to throw it as hard as I can. No, I appreciate, I respect the art of pitching, which despite what you may see where, people are like, in terms like, in effect, like predicting failure for the Cardinals pitchers because they don't strike out people. They don't have any swing and miss. There people that harp on that over and over again, they're missing the art of the pitching and the importance of art of pitching. So if you, and I got one more stat though, it ties it all together and you'll like it. If you factor all this in, it produces a conclusion that tells us what we need to know. There is a metric for this. It's called Pitching Plus. It measures all aspects of a pitcher's performance. All aspects. I mean, it's the bottom line. Are you making pitches? Are you good at the art of pitching? This metric measures all aspects of pitching performance and pulls it all together into one score, if you will. And your St. Louis Cardinals rank 9th among the 30 teams in the pitching plus metric. These guys know how to pitch, and that can offset a low strikeout rate, a low swing and miss rate, a hard hit rate, because you're limiting. See, the hard hit rate is about hard hit rate in terms of balls in play, right? And the Cardinals are, it's just the percentage of what's in play. But the Cardinals, there's also hard hit ground balls. And there's a lot of hard hit ground balls to the Cardinals infield. Just take note of that when you watch the games. I mean, line drives by nature are hard hit balls. So the hard hit rate it's helpful, but it also can be misleading. And I think the Cardinals are showing that. But again, just in terms of pure pitching performance, the Cardinals ranked 9th among the 30 teams. See, I love this combination, man. I love this collaboration. The old school pitching and an athletic, skilled, and well-positioned defense is working in unison, and they're frustrating hitters. And that's why the Cardinals are 9th in the majors for best fielding independent ERA. I don't know about you, but I think this is pretty cool. How many other pitching staffs could rise above the way they have this subterranean, below street level strikeout rate? I don't know the exact answer to that. How many teams are doing this? Teams that don't strike out many hitters, right? I don't know how many of them are overcoming that, but I do know this. The team in St. Louis is absolutely doing it. And much respect for the defense, but also the pitchers who do a lot to help themselves. They have found a way, and Dusty Blake's good, man. They have found a way to offset their lack of a strikeout punch. And that is impressive. Thanks to all of you for watching. And as always, thanks to DraftKings. The crown is yours. Enjoy your day, everyone. Thank you for watching.